Oof. My name is Earline Tull. This is my story.
Can you share with us how your journey with substance or alcohol use began and how it evolved over time?
My substance use began at a very young age due to trauma. Uh, my substance actually began at the age of 10 when I started to experience with different substance. Was never really addicted to anything um, or anything of that sort. I just was trying to medicate what was going on with me throughout my childhood. Um, as a person who, who had of a family who always believed what happened in the house stayed in the house. Um, I didn't have people that I could actually talk to outside that, and the ones that I did used everything I had against me, and it kept me shadowed to be by myself for a lot. Um, over the years, I started experimenting more with substance. It started out with marijuana and drinking. Over time, it started being with crack cocaine. Um, and after having children, um, my oldest daughter, I was snorting cocaine with her, but it wasn't addictive. I can stop, and I would do it, commercially wise, like on the weekends. Then with my middle girl, I was smoking weed every day. Then I ended up quitting because I couldn't smoke being pregnant with her because she wouldn't allow it. Then with my baby girl, I was using substance, crack cocaine, and smoking cigarettes through the whole pregnancy. Um, thank God today that my daughter has not have any repercussions from that. Um, as time went on, I became more into me and into the darkness of the substance till I lost focus of everything else around me. Losing a job, being put out, getting my children taken away from me. Um, my children was staying with my parents, which I wasn't allowed to be around a lot. I see my children and I didn't get to see my children. Um, and then I went into rehab um, some years later. Uh, it was okay for a while, but then I was doing it for everybody except for myself. So I was in and out. Uh, it's been 9 years, almost 9 years since I've been clean and sober. And I'm loving my journey. My journey started this time around of having epiphany. I see myself dying, either being on my knees with a bullet to my head or taking a hit of cocaine and my heart busted. That woke me up. I remember walking into my youngest daughter's house and telling her, I have no excuse to get high. And it's coming on 9 years, and I still can't find an excuse to get high. Um, I've I've been working in the field of substance and mental health for now going on 3 years straight, no, 4 years straight. And I'm loving the journey um, of me being able to give back freely to others. Uh, I learned to, in this process, that I do seek help from mental health from time to time. And that all came through my substance use and not dealing with the trauma at hand. Learning from that, I learned now how to cope without using. I speak when I need to speak. I allow people to know if they're hurting me and if they're not. Um, I'm able to have conversations with people. Um, so my life today has become a lot better. I'm being able to be held accountable, take responsibilities for my own actions and anything that I do. When my kids call on me, I'm there for them today. If my grandkids call on me today, I'm there for them as well. Um, able to maintain. I work a nice job today. Um, I have a car. I have my own place, and I've been on my own for 7 years, living on my own for 7 whole years, and that means in my own place, taking responsibility of paying all my bills, and I have not yet had anything cut off or disconnected due to me staying clean. Um, I don't take away from anybody, and I don't use the word recovery. I use the word discovery. I discover every day something new about myself and how I can cope and how I can maintain to not to go back to my old familiar places and people. Um, Substance use is not something that I even look at as me ever going back to. I don't see a reason to. Daily to day things is going to happen. I done been through deaths. I had multiple people died. It was very, very close to me and dear to me. I just can't see myself going back to that ever again. Um, Life is going to live. I look at them transitioning from one place to another. I never look at them as being completely gone. And that's even with myself. I transition every day to something better. Um, I love who I am today.
Thank you. How did becoming a parent uh, impact your relationship with substance abuse?
Becoming a parent at the time, I can't, for me, I was a parent at 5. I had 2 siblings younger than me that I had to help raise until my father met the woman that he fell deeply in love with and ended up marrying. Um, After that, it took me some years to let go of my brother and my sister. And then when I did let go, it was just me, being me, finally knowing what a little girl was supposed to be like. And then when I had my own children, um, I guess everything started playing a part with me not dealing with the traumas that I had before I had children. So I think my substance and having children at that time was just at the wrong time at the wrong time. Uh, but I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful each one of them are here. They're healthy. They have their own lives. And yes, I still have some things in mending to do with them, but we're building today. Um, and I'm there for them.
Can you describe a moment that made you realize changes was needed in your life regarding substance use? A pivotal moment.
November the 3rd of 2015 is when I knew that that was a day to actually change. That was a day for complete change. That was the day that I walked in my daughter's house and told her I had no excuse to get high. And it's coming on almost 9 years, and I still ain't found that excuse to get high. Uh,
And so, can you tell me, did you just wake up and have an epiphany, or
I just woke
what
up
what
and just
happened?
didn't get high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. On the 1st of November, I got evicted from my place, and I was sent into a hotel. A friend of mine picked me up, and we went to the hotel. I couldn't get high. I literally could not get high. I don't care what I did, I could not get high. And I was like, it was waste. I I was just as normal as I am now. And I was like, yeah. So my taste and my desires were no longer there. Um, and that was something that I prayed for even in my point of heavy addiction. I prayed to the taste and desires to go. I worked on that. I prayed that before, during, and after I took a hit. I always prayed for that, and it happened.
Okay. How did you decide to seek support or treatment, and what was that experience like?
For me, this time around, it was no treatment. It took me every bit of 6 months to go back into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Um, I went in, I celebrated my 6 months um, of being clean. To this day, I don't take away from anything of Narcotics Anonymous. I think they are a good program. For me, I just look at myself as I know what I have to do. I use the tools from before when I went to Narcotics Anonymous. I built my toolboxes from people and various people around. And today they all help me to still maintain my sense of discovery.
In what ways has your journey influenced your parenting style and approach?
My parenting,
Mm-hmm. Your
my
parenting style.
my parenting style. Today, I'm able to be there for my children. Today, I'm able to answer questions when they're asked. I'm able to support them in ways that they need support today. Rather it's mental, rather it's physical, or rather it's spiritual. I'm there financially. I'm there for my children. At the beginning, it was a lot of guilt. So anytime they asked, I gave it. Now it's not so much of the guilt; it's so much of me being there to support. Um, if I have it, I can support them, and if I don't, I allow them to know I can't do it today. And it's just what it is. But I'm there for my children today.
Um, what role did coaching play in your journey, recovery journey? If you had a peer coaching,
Peer coaching was something I did for others.
okay.
Even in my addiction, I can remember telling people or suggestions who I never told. I always suggested that they should or could do different things to come out of their addiction. I just didn't take my own advice. That's what kept me there longer. Had I took my own, maybe I would have been out of there years before this. But my time was my time. But I've been a peer, and to this day, I am a certified peer support specialist, board certified. But I've been in this role for many, many years before I became board certified.
Can you share a specific strategy that has been particularly effective for you in maintaining sobriety?
Honesty, honesty, being honest when feelings come about, being honest to allow others to know when I have had drug dreams. I don't have cravings, I do still have dreams from time to time. But today I don't react on my dreams. I allow them to know that it's just a dream and it's not who I am. Um, and it's always around that time of the year when I'm getting clean, when I got clean. It usually happens. But today I just allow people to know I am honest with my recovery. I just don't do it. I'm honest with even the peers that I serve today and allowing them to know, listen, it's okay, but it's just things have you to do things differently. Things that we never done, we just do today, and it's doing a negative, like taking the negativity and turn it into something positive. I take all negativity and turn it into something positive, regardless of how my day may go. There are still days that I don't want to do things, but I know I have to keep my sanity and to keep me moving forward. People depend on me.
How do you communicate with your family about your past experiences with this substance abuse?
When people ask me, I give them honesty. I allow them to know what's going on. Like, I don't sugarcoat anything. I can't. I don't. Sugarcoating to me is lying. And if I'm worried about how people perceive me, I'll never grow. So I'm always that person that believes in sugarcoating. I can't sugarcoat. I don't know what sugarcoating looks like. Um, for me, sugarcoating is me worried about how you're going to perceive me or how somebody's going to perceive the information. Information is information. How you take it is how you take it. I'm about saving lives, not saving your feelings. Your feelings and your emotions is what got us in the part that we played Neil. I It got us into drugs. When we worry about how our feelings is what got us there. We got high regardless of how we felt. Whether it was good, bad, or indifference, we got high. It was our way of celebrating. It was our way of coping. It was our way of mourning. Today, no. I cry and keep it moving.
What advice would you give to other people who are currently
Struggle.
struggling with substance abuse?
My biggest advice for anyone: be honest with yourself. Be totally honest with you. That's the only way to get through it. You got to be honest with you. If you're not ready, allow others to know that you're not ready, but you still hear everything that they're being said. And if you are ready, please, please be honest with it. Don't give up half of the story. Give it all up to order to get the help that you need. Rather, it's your mental, if you're fighting anyone that's going through mental and substance, get the help for both at the same time. Don't try to do mental first and substance later, or substance now and mental later. It never works that way. Get the help you need at the same time.
Perfect. Okay. What are some misconceptions you encountered about substance use that you would like to address?
The biggest exception is once an addict, always an addict. That's the biggest exception. That's a lie. Because not all of us know. Once an addict is not always an addict. We live different various of life. We come from different various of parts of life. We're all individuals. We're not considered the same. Even though we get to the same seat, we are still different individual people.
So, looking back, what would you say has been the most rewarding aspect of your journey in recovery or discovery, as you look at it?
As in my journey of discovery, the biggest thing for me is all honesty, being accountable, holding myself accountable, and building my self esteem. No one can build my self esteem but me. And for me, that was the biggest thing, building my self esteem back. Once I built my self esteem, I built me. And the woman that I have become today is the best woman I could ever love. Today, I know how to love her. I know how to love Earline today. And I love loving Earline.
Can you share how your drug use impacted your pregnancy?
With me being pregnant with any of my children, it it made me pray that nothing comes to harm to them. I prayed every day of my pregnancies that none of my kids became addicted and nothing came to harm them. Like they didn't get no type of birth defect from it. Um, my kids are beautiful individuals. Yes, they all struggle from some type of challenge, but they're basically good, beautiful women today.
And okay, go ahead.
So my biggest challenges was just, yeah, it scared me a lot of times when I was pregnant. Like I didn't want it. Me harming my children. Would this affect my children? Would they come out with a birth defect? Um, but by God's good and grace, my children are here and they're beautiful.
Okay. And did you experience any postpartum? Um, did you have any
PTSD.
experience with that?
PTSD is what I'm diagnosed with.
Okay, PTSD.
I
Okay.
am diagnosed with PTSD. It started off as they diagnosed me in my addiction with bipolar. Come to find out, recently, in the last 3 years, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Um, and that all comes from trauma. It all stemmed from childhood trauma, um, from being molested to being raped, from being verbally abused to being physically abused. So all that played a part, and I never addressed it. So as I got older, it part of the reason why I got high because I didn't know how to cope with it. Um, Went to various of organizations here in the state of Delaware. At the time, a lot of them were considered book knowledge and did not have the knowledge of active using. So they made it seem like it was all in our head, and in reality, it wasn't. It's they didn't know how to deal with it. Today, I feel as though a lot of the organizations, it's always good to have someone who has the background of substance or mental health to order to be able to help the ones that's coming forth. Because to me, if you don't have that experience, you don't know what that really looks like. And that book is only a guideline of what they think it should look like and not the truth.
Did you have problems finding treatment as a woman or
In the state of Delaware, yes, I did.
in the state of Delaware?
In the state of Delaware, I can truly say, in the state of Delaware, there is very, very little information on women who have substance abuse and are pregnant. There are people who will shy away from them instead of helping them, and don't know what true help looks like. So they battle them and they try to degrade them. And to me, that's not helping them. Help is help. Give them the help that they need. Listen to them. Because listening, if you truly listen, you hear every pain that they're going through. You hear their struggles. Their struggles are real. What they're going through, what they live with is real. At the moment for them, it's very real. And most people try to take that away from them. Oh, that's not real. Oh, you shouldn't feel like this, or you can't tell nobody what they went through or what they're going through if you're not there with them. For the most people are with them for a couple hours. These people live with this 24/7, 365 days. They know what they're going through. And if you're not living with them, you can't tell them they're not going through it.
So you have mentioned your children were taken away. Can you, walk us through that process?
My process with that is my father and my mother at the time, I was living in their household. They wanted everything. They wanted the food stamps. They wanted the money. Even though I was giving them money and was giving them all my food stamps, they wanted it all. They didn't want what I was giving them anymore. They wanted everything. Granted, I was in addiction. I would come home on the weekends. I would be going probably Sunday night. I would leave Sunday night. And I probably wouldn't come back until Saturday. But when I came back, I was home with my children. And a lot of times I would come home sometimes through the week and be there for my children, ask them, I always made sure my children had brand new sneaks, like they had clothing. I made sure my children were dressed. I kept their hair done. I made sure all that stuff was done for my children. I just wasn't there physically. Like, I wasn't there to emotionally support them. I was going. The streets had me more than they had me. And I can admit that today. Do it hurt? Yeah. Did it hurt then? Yes. But today, I'm proud to say that my children are beautiful.
So I just wanted to clarify that. So your children was always with the family member.
It was not always with my family member.
Okay.
They were never taken to the
To
States.
foster care
They
or
were
anything.
never in the state system. They were never in the system.
Okay.
My father ended up giving me my children back just before my middle girl turned 16. I had my children back in the home with me. I finally got a place of my own. It was a subsidized housing. I ended up getting them back. I wasn't receiving any money for them when I got them back. They told me I wasn't eligible to get their benefits. I was just getting my own benefits, which at that time I was getting SSI.
Mm-hmm.
My kids thought that I was getting a check for them every month.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, I never got a check for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
My check was my SSI. The food stamps was my food stamps. They were never really added to my food stamps until like 6 months after I got them back.
Mm-hmm.
But my kids didn't. They thought that I was getting everything for them. And they asked me, Mom, can we get our money from our check? What check? Y'all don't have a check.
Right.
And they thought that I was always lying to them about that. In reality, I never ever got a check from my children.
So, can you kind of describe what your living situation was like?
Whew. Okay. At one point, I had my own. Um, I lived on my own. Then I moved back with my parents. Then I moved out again, and then I moved back with my parents. And I lived with my parents for many years after that. Not really living in the house, but storing my stuff at their house because the addiction had me more in the streets than it did at home. Um, but then I ended up getting my own place, and my addiction seemed to be taking off at the worst. That's when it took to its highest. That's when it took to its worst for me, because even though me and my children were in the same household, I very seldom seen my children because I was in my room more than I was with my children. Um, I would engage when my when my baby girl told me that she was pregnant. Um, I supported her to the best of my ability at the time. I went to various groups that she had me go to with her, but I wasn't 100% supportive. And I can admit that. I didn't 100% support, but I supported the best way I knew how at the time that I had. I gave my kids what I had at the time.
Did you ever breastfeed any of your
No,
children?
no.
And can you say who's in your corner? Who's in your corner currently?
Who's in my corner? All three of my daughters are in my corner today. My brother and my sister is in my corner, especially my brother. He's in my corner today. Um, I am my biggest supporter, and I don't lie about that. I am my biggest supporter because at the end of the day, I'm the one who can beat myself up more than anyone else can beat me up. So I learned to be my biggest cheerleader. I cheer me on. Every day I look myself in the mirror to cheer me on. I tell myself today is going to be a good day.
So, if you could wave a magic wand, what one thing would you want to be different?
My relationship with my children. I would really want my relationship to be a better relationship. Um, but I'm grateful for the relationship I have with them. That's basically, yeah, the relationships.
Any afterthoughts? Anything you would like to share with the audience?
At this time, all I can say is for those who are still out here struggling with any mental or substance, seek the help. Seek the help. The streets don't care too stark about you. Seek help. It's here. It's just finding the right people to connect with and being honest through that process. That's it.
Thank you. I do have one question when she returns, though.
I'm so sorry.
No, no, you're fine.
I put the phone.
It happens to the best of us.
That's it.
Mhm.
I'm
You okay?
good.
I hope you're doing so good.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, being honest.
That's the only way I can be. I can't sugarcoat. Most people be like, "Oh, don't say this, and you can say this. Don't say that." But I can't be that person. If I'm truly helping someone to get clean, I gotta be honest with my story. I don't dwell on the war stories. I always try to find I'd rather show you, yes, I was here. Yes, this happened, but this is how I got through it. And that was being honest and working on me. I work, even to this day, I still work on me.
Never stops.
I can't. And that means me doing self-help books. I worked on them. I'm not a journal. I don't like to write a lot of stuff down, but I would speak a lot. Positively things. Believe in positive, like the atmosphere. What you put in yourself is what you are, and I believe that. Like, no, yeah, I was a person that didn't like school. Today, I don't have a problem with taking a couple courses here and there.
Or what they call that, forever a student.
I'm always a student. I'm always, because every day is a learning day. And even to this day, I tell my grandchildren the same thing. Even when they were little, what did you learn? Even in my addiction, what did you learn today in school? Nothing. Was you listening? Was you paying attention? Because to tell me you didn't learn something is like, ugh.
But what were you doing all that time?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Is that your last question?
Yes.
All right. So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my role, but you guys have inspired me so much.
no problem.
What would you tell your younger self if you had to go back and just
And
speak to that person?
I speak to my younger self on a daily, consistent basis. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So I tell my younger self, it's okay to be her. It's okay to be her. Let you grow. Show me how to, show me what you want. Teach me what you want. Because I'm learning me. I didn't know who I was. So it's okay to talk to your inner self and allow your inner self to know it's okay. Today I'm learning to love you. Today I'm here for you, whatever that may look like. Some days it means me have to cry some days. It means some days I may have to beat somebody up. And that means not physical, and that's not physical. But my words, some days I may have to allow something. And when I say beat somebody up, that's beating me up. Some days I gotta let that old person know, like, you can't come here. You ain't got no place here. Why aren't you trying to show your head? Yeah, I'm doing better. But you don't take that credit. And I'm not gonna give that credit to you. So that's when I talk about beating that person up. Yeah, that day I gotta let that person know you ain't got no place. You was buried. Why is you trying to show now? You know, but I have to, that's in the mornings, I do get up and I hug myself. And I allow myself to know, no matter what, we're gonna do this together. So my little girl inside me, she loves me like I love her. So we starting to love each other. So we work together to love each other and to work together. Because a lot of people don't look at, our bodies talk to us. Our bodies allow us to know when we're in pain. That pain is allowing us to know something's wrong. Most people don't listen to it. And that's what a lot of people in substance don't listen. We're medicated. We continue to medicate. And the more we medicate, the worse it's starting to get, to the point where either some of us die from it because we didn't find a way out. I can say this freely and honestly. I remember when I first got clean the last time around, I remember going to each one of my drug dealers and telling them I quit their job. Like, literally, I quit your job. And I had one dealer tell me, I never hired you. And I told him, yes, you did. The first day I put my money in your hand, you hired me for your job. And he said, what you mean by that? So we had that conversation. Because you gave me something in return that I liked. It made me continue to pay you. I could not come back to you and ask you, can I get $1 because I need something to eat? My benefits from this job was death, degradation, and low self-esteem. That was my benefit from that job. I could never take a vacation. You was able to take vacation. You was able to say, today I'm not coming outside because I'm sick. I couldn't say that. I still had to beat that payment to make sure that you got something. So for me, I learned that I had to quit a job that was not beneficial. Today, I have a beautiful job that with all benefits. I can take vacations. I can tell you today I ain't coming to work because I don't feel good. You see what I'm saying? The day I get a paycheck. I'm not given a paycheck. And that's the difference in me today. So that's who I am today. And that is my true 100% story.